Hello and welcome to another episode from the guys at the All About the Balls Sports podcast. We're three mates who love just to sit around in the pub or cafe as it's dry January and chat about sport. One of us knows a lot, one of us is very funny, and the other one is me. This week we've got the next in our series of the best sporting teams of the past decade, as well as the lads' thoughts about the week's past sporting shenanigans. Including the South Africa-England Test match, the very rough and ready way that the Australian openers have treated India today, but I wouldn't expect anything less from David Warner, and also a couple of changes to the world of rugby. But before I ramble on too much, let me introduce you to the talent, very much the talent in this operation, Gareth and Boise. Lads, how are you both?
Yeah, good. How you doing?
Mate, I'm very well. Although I am very well, but I am worried how tired I am already this week, and it's only Tuesday.
Wow.
I am bloody shattered.
That is January for you. January is,
isn't it?
Shit.
January.
It's a long,
it's very much,
dark month.
It's very much the Dave Warner of the year, isn't it? It's a fucking arsehole.
Yeah.
A long, dark, windy. Yeah, January is the arsehole of all the months.
Yeah.
So,
how's dry David Warner for you guys going?
It's pretty average, if I'm honest. It's a combination of dry January and trying to eat better means I'm just hungry, grumpy, and
that's so
can't do anything about it. Yeah.
Do you do it? Do you do it every year, Mr. Boyce, or do you? Is this
I try to. I start I don't start on the 1st of January. I start first week of January, I'd say.
It's like a run up, isn't it? You take a run up to dry January.
Take a run up and eat everything to try and put on as much weight, and then I try and lose as much weight as possible in the next 4 to 6 weeks.
It's like a bear hibernating for the winter. Just grabbing salmon from everywhere.
I just found myself wandering aimlessly around the kitchen looking for something to eat, and then realising, no, I'm not allowed anything, and sitting down.
I think it would be an amazing sort of David Attenborough documentary. Like, here, in the wilds of the kitchen, a hungry bear hunts. And it's maybe like one of your kids like comes through the door, like catches your eye, and he's like just turn like, I mean, I am pretty hungry.
No. Looks like just like a little walking drumstick coming towards you. So. Anyway,
what about you, Gareth, mate? Because you're doing dry January as well, and you're a pretty disciplined man.
Are you?
Are you not doing dry January?
No.
Well,
I mean, look,
I've always thought. I've always looked to you for guidance and discipline.
I don't want to put a label on anything, but I've got 4 birthdays in January.
Are they all your own? Is this?
Yeah, I mean, I just celebrate. It's a leap year, so no. We went to a 50th on the 4th of January. It's my wife's birthday, my brother-in-law's birthday, my father-in-law's birthday, and our nephew's birthday. So it's pretty much impossible to not drink or spend money in January, which is excellent.
That's pretty good.
So I'm well and truly continuing to fly the flag of drinking. Or I'm trying to just drink less. Moderation, I think, is key for me.
Yeah.
Only 4 or 5 Jaeger bombs on a Sunday. I've tried to limit it down to.
Mate, that is cutting back. And I think
isn't
Jägermeister a botanical in Germany or something like that?
Yeah, I mean, that and gin.
It's like a digestif.
Yes, it is a digestif, you're right. Correct. I've got a funny story just before we get going.
Yes.
My son's 5.5 and he's, at the moment, for some reason, he's obsessed with playing goalkeeper, just adamant he wants to be a keeper. I mean, anyone who knows me knows, unless the postman's 6'4", he's probably not got much future. I can't see, even Maddie Ryan, the Brighton keeper's 6 foot, and I think he's going to be struggling with that. But anyway.
But every team does need a keeper. It's always at those younger ages when like no one wants to go in goal. I remember when at school, we had one guy who was willing to be keeper. He was then goalkeeper, wicketkeeper for our entire school career because no one else wanted to go. But he's locked himself into the first. I
think so my son's pretty good actually in terms of like sounds weird, but he's actually making proper saves and stuff. But he's obviously hasn't quite worked out the angles on a 101. So I've been trying to chat to him, and I'm like, when the kid's through 101, you've got to come out to stop the angles, right? I put chairs in the kitchen, showed him how, anyway.
This is awesome.
So we go down on Saturday. He's in nets. This pretty good kid breaks through. Messi slalom through 2 or 3 players, 101. So I'm probably a good 30 yards away, but I shout across the field, come out. Right, Jamie, textbook, times it perfectly, great technique, makes himself as big as he can be at 5.5. He looked about 7, probably, in terms of, comes out, but the kid still calmly slotted past him. Great goal. It happens. He then stopped and shouted across the pitch, "Dad, that was your fault." So then I got him back, and then I went back going, "It's not my fault. People score. It happens." And he then went, "I'm never coming out again." So, and then ran back and stood on the line. And I was like, I thought, imagine equating this into an adult Premier League game. Someone breaks through, Aguero breaks through, slots it past the gate, and he runs over to Solskjaer and starts shouting at him because he told him to come out on Thursday and train.
I'm never coming out again.
But yeah, so it was just comedy. The other dads next to me were just like, "What are you doing?" I was like, "I don't know. I can't help it. It just happens."
I was going to say, I think your initial shout of "come out" was understandable. His response is understandable because he's a kid, so he's going to shout something. However, your response to that was, I think, inappropriate and unnecessary.
But he needs to understand that ultimately, people are going to score 101s. It's the odds are stacked against him.
I can't help but feel that actually we're going to be doing this show in 5 years' time, and you've been sent off again by the referee because it's escalated further.
But yeah, it was just that his reaction was just shouting back, "That was your fault." I thought, actually, if anything, it was the other 4-year-old who's not great, who let him go through. It was anyone's fault, but I don't want to create a blame culture.
I'm actually with Jamie here. I don't know why keepers come out. It's ridiculous.
That's the angle.
The angles, mate. The angles, boys.
You can cut the angle without coming out.
Next time you're in my kitchen, I'll get 2 stools and we'll show you how I mean.
Well, look, we're planning a live show, aren't we? So what we'll do is we'll do it around at Gareth's place.
2 bar stools. 2 bar stools.
We'll do it around at Gareth's place, and we'll record it live, and we'll get the bar stools out, and maybe get some people from the bar as well to get involved and show us the pros and cons of coming out.
But speaking of football, should we jump straight in, or do you want to jump straight into our team off, or do you want to have a chat about some other stuff first?
Well, do you know what, mate? You ask a very, very good question. Let's tease out the main feature of the show, just for a soupçon more. But I just wanted to, because since our last show, we recorded last time just before the amazing victory down in South Africa in the second test, where England wrapped up the second test late on the final day as well. And it was an amazing team performance, I thought. I know Stokesy's got a lot of the plaudits, but what a team performance.
Absolutely. I think it's the old England back, which is, I just don't understand when England became so inconsistent, which is, really annoying about the team. But I thought they, showed good spirit. They, fought to the end. Yes, Stokes got all the plaudits, but, I think it was a good team performance. Jimmy Anderson out the tour again. Is that his, last game for England, Ollie?
Yeah.
Are you willing to make the call again? Feels a bit deja vu, if I'm honest. But
yeah, exactly. Yeah, we are the show of bold predictions. Look, I fear for the man. I've said it before. I fear for the man. I said, don't take him overseas. Don't take him overseas. When you get older, you don't go overseas. You stay home. You go to Eastbourne, and that's about it. And they've taken him down to South Africa. Lovely place. Don't get me wrong, but we've all got on the wrong side of a little activity in South Africa at one point or another, haven't we? So Jimmy Anderson is he's out for the tour now, isn't he?
Yeah,
he's back.
Yeah,
he's back.
And Leach has come back as well.
Leach is back.
So,
what was Leach's problem? Is he had the shits for about 3 weeks?
Yeah, I think so. I think
he lost so much body weight he can't actually continue.
It's a massive call, but they've.
It's a massive something.
He's just do it before and after, and he's just like a prune who's just put on the plane and flown back. So,
I think it could be quite interesting because Wood is back fit and could be in contention. Archer hopefully is in contention again, and they've got Wokes as well. So actually, as a bowling attack, England are looking quite strong, and I don't think it's not the end of the world. But
where is it? Is it Port Elizabeth the next game?
Yeah.
And I might be getting this wrong, but where I read that normally the pitch there is a bit of a road, a little bit, not very spinner friendly.
Yeah.
So they might play an all-out pace attack.
I think so. I mean, we should probably speak to our South African correspondent.
Yes.
On that.
Gareth, are you there?
Yes. The pitch is pretty docile, but doesn't spin much. So they might play. I think Sam Curran would probably be a pretty good player on that track. Yeah. Does swing a little bit down on the coast. That's the truth. There's a fact, all right?
It's nice, Wes. That's great terminology.
Well, exactly.
Swing a bit down on the coast. Sounds like Brighton in general. Get down there, swing a bit on the coast. Lovely.
But I think it'll be an interesting game. I think the third test will be really interesting. Both teams see how they respond. And not really anywhere near the best in the world at the moment, but it's, I think the team that wins this series is going to have a bit of momentum, so should do all right.
It's like we said, though, it's a good, evenly matched series, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's actually one side struggling for consistency, one side's before the first test match had lost 5 on a bounce, and we're in real trouble. In terms of disorganisation and what their strategy and plan was. So it's actually, the timing has been excellent for them to play each other, just because it's like two very evenly poised, slightly
average
down, slightly average boxers going at it, isn't it? It's just
looking to come back. Yeah, and if England could get a win in the series, then that's a hard-fought draw on Ashes, and then a win away against South Africa. That's a good thing then to come back to England for a home summer.
Yeah.
If it didn't happen, but if they'd drawn that match, because I think that would have felt like a loss for England, right? Really?
Yeah.
Do you think there would be panic? Would have been panic in terms of that? Do you think my?
I don't think so. I think it's a new regime there, and I think that they would have. I think they would have actually potentially won the next one. So, I
mean, it's an irrelevant question because it didn't happen. I was just interested to see.
I think if they'd lost it, so if South Africa had managed to win the game, then I think you would have potentially seen, because there's no one new in the side. It's not like they can try something new for the remainder of the series. They've got a pretty static side now. It's good that Sibley came off, but that's about it. So they can't do anything more. So I'd say they needed to win it, but at least not lose it.
You don't get enough sackings in cricket and rugby, like managerial world, do you?
It's true. It's a very polite sport.
Otis Gibson got sacked, obviously, from South Africa. But I mean,
South Africa are a little bit crazy, but
you don't get enough of, like, in the middle of it, them just getting rid of a manager in the middle of a tour or something.
Barcelona, they've won, winning pretty much everything. Sorry, you haven't won the Champions League, so can you get out, please? That's a bit rough. But I think the big story from that second test, was actually Joss Butler's banter with Philander.
Brilliant. What did he say?
Or Fatlander, I think, as he's calling him. I don't know exactly.
I think he called him a fucking knobhead.
He said, "You fucking knobhead." Try and get your gut out of the way, or trying to get your gut over that, or something like that. I don't know if he's calling him fat. I think he was fat shaming.
It was a strange attack.
It was bizarre, but it was. it was quite funny because actually there's a lot of people who attacked Joss Butler and said, like, this is all for your fat shaming and all that kind of stuff. They're like, fucking hell, calm down, man. But also, if you watch,
we've all got weight in January. Just leave him. Just leave Big Ben.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, but it's actually quite funny because the video footage, you've obviously got Joss Butler there, sort of right by the stump, saying, "Oh, you fucking knobhead." But then also just behind him in shot is Stokesy going, "Go on, Joss, like goading Joss on to go on, call him a knobhead, it was good. I thought it was very good, but it did make me wonder. Like, everyone has to go say the Aussies for their was it mental disintegration and things like that, and obviously we all hate David Warner, but now England have done it as well. But actually, the one thing in common is it's always in South Africa against the South Africans. I think it's the South Africans that are the problem.
They definitely are.
Well, we know. I mean, we know they are weak chokers in the cricket department, aren't they? I mean, this is not new information. It's funny though, talking about sledging. Just very quickly, I was chatting to the guys in the office, and just, I mean, you think at international level you wouldn't get wound up. You think you're almost in the in zone. It's sort of like club cricket or whatever. A bit of sledging, which Ian used to be bad for that, actually. A bit of sledging, like gets in your head. But I was chatting to a guy who plays Sunday League, and he said, "Oh, this weekend this guy got right in my head." And I went, "Oh, what did he say?" And he went, "Well, he said he tackled me," and so I went down, and then he went, "Oh, I thought you were a bit harder than that." And he went, "I don't know why, but it just got in my head." I'm like, it's not even really that clever. And he went, "I know, but for the next 5 minutes, I just ran around trying to kick him the whole time." And just imagine the central midfielder just being run pillar to post, trying to kick him. He's like, awesome. Because the guy went, "I thought you were a bit harder than that." I was like, "Mate, you need to get your game right there." So,
I know we're rambling on, but they're talking about making tests more exciting. They could not make them more exciting unless they opened up the stump mic, so that you could hear what people are saying behind the stumps. That would be brilliant.
If you think about it, like, that is a whole new subscription for Sky Sports and BT Sport. If they charge, a £5 a match to be able to subscribe to the stump cam, I would be on there like a whip it. That would be amazing.
Do you remember Fan Zone? Even just that kind of insight. But actually, do you know what would be good now that you said that, Ian? If they mic'd up every player.
Oh, yes.
But then, so obviously us at home can find out what they're saying, but it has no bearing on the game in terms of, if Jimmy Anderson walks up to Broad and goes, "Oh, I bowl an end swinger," it's not like they can relay the message to that knobhead here in the middle who's standing there. Do you see what I mean?
They do that.
I know they do that like a little bit in the Big Bash where they talk to the commentator, but imagine people just mic'd up all the time. So you literally you could just hear chat.
That would be very cool. I'd like that.
Standing in the slips. Just listening, and then just all having a camera on their forehead. So we basically we're basically playing Test cricket ourselves then.
I mean, we're getting a little bit technical here, but that would be amazing if you could then have a camera like in their cap or something like that, so you could actually be watching the game through First Slip's eyes.
Yeah,
that'd be so cool.
They've done that with the cricket, haven't they? When they put the cam on the helmet and then they've watched a guy bat and bat with that, and you just have zero chance of seeing that ball. Just different level.
We are definitely meandering along here.
It's like we've just turned up at the cafe for a cup of tea and a chat, and that's what's happening.
Do you know what? This is. I don't think we've got many young listeners. I hope we haven't. But it's funny. We had. I was with my wife's cousin a week or so ago, and she's fast approaching her 21st birthday, and she said she was catching up with one of her mates on the phone, and then came down and says, "Oh yeah, I was just spilling the tea with Teresa." And both me and the wife just went, "Sorry, what?" "Oh, just spilling the tea." It's like, "Oh, do you want a cloth?" And apparently this actually means having a chat. So we are spilling the tea. We're spilling the tea.
We are spilling the tea. We're spilling the tea.
Crazy. Anyway. So look, South Africa, England, second test. Was it this Friday? Third test coming up?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
Cool. Something like that. There is another test at some point.
Yeah.
Soon. Sweet. Actually, yeah, because I think all 4 tests happen before the end of January. So anyway, yes,
yeah,
good.
It's Friday.
Check your
it's
local.
Next pod, we will be able to report on said test match.
Yes, probably.
Get your paper out. I want to see your teams, please. I'm intrigued by the football teams.
So just before we go on to the football teams, the best Premier League team of the decade, have you guys seen the changes they're planning for rugby, for the rules of rugby?
Yes, because you tweeted about them, but I haven't got a clue what they're about. So please tell me.
So there's a couple that are interesting, which basically means there's a couple I've read and I haven't read the others. But there's one which is something to do with the ref can start warning players if they are using a tackling technique that is too kind of stand-up-ish and too high. So it's not actually a head-high tackle and something like that, but the technique is a bit too upright. The referee can actually start warning them and tell them to change, and if they don't change, then they can get penalised.
Out of interest, how is that different to now?
Well, because now you can still tackle upright, but unless it's actually head high, you're not going to get penalised or anything. Now they can say, no, your style your technique is too upright.
God, if it's not bad enough that some blokes run over you and you feel like an idiot anyway, then you get told you're doing it badly by the referee. Who's never played a game of professional rugby in his life.
I cannot wait until someone tries to tell Edsabeth that he's tackling too upright, though. That'd be quite tough. But the another one, which is quite interesting, is I don't know have you guys heard of the 40-20 kicking rule in rugby league?
No, but we have one rugby league listener, so he'll be pleased you said that.
Well, here we go. Fantastic.
No, what is that rule?
So in rugby league, the pitch is divided not like in 22-10 halfway like it is in rugby union, but it's divided like into the 20-metre line, and then there's a 40-metre line and a halfway line. If you're a kicker and you kick from within inside your own 40-metre line, so within 40 metres of your goal line, and the ball then bounces out into touch inside the opposition's 20-metre zone, you then get possession. So in rugby union, what they're going to do is like if you kick from inside your own half, and the ball bounces into touch. So it has to go indirectly into touch. It has to hit the ground in play first, but goes out inside the opposition's 22. You get the line out.
Right.
So you can be kicking from just inside your own half, kick it into touch. As long as it bounces first, you get the line out. So it's just like a penalty almost.
Oh, I like it. Confusing, but I like it.
So is this aimed to encourage more attacking rugby and?
So much
games?
smarter, much rugby smarter people than I have been sort of telling me how this could work on Twitter. So I think part of the idea is that because that would then become a real big benefit to the attacking side, what the defence are going to have to do is drop back their wings and fullback to make sure they are covering that, which then means those players can't be up in the defensive line, which should then create more space.
Ah.
Oh, I didn't even think of that.
Yeah.
I just thought teams will get more attacking lineouts in the other 22.
Yeah, I mean, it's still quite a hard thing to do to actually sort of nail a kick that goes into touch but bounces first and within the right area and all that kind of stuff. But yeah, that's the theory. So it's being trialled at a few different levels. I think not like a sort of Premier League or Super Rugby yet, but it should.
I like it. I think that's good.
Yeah. So yeah, we'll keep an eye on that. But
I'm convinced.
Yeah,
mate, sold. Now, before we go, is there anything else anyone wants to chat about at all? Anything exciting?
No, let's get into it. Let's get into the next.
Here we go.
Here comes my piece of paper out. First of all, should we do formation?
4-4-2,
yes.
Surely.
Oh no, it's the modern era, Ian. I've gone 4-3-3. I've gone 4-3-3.
So, okay, let's set the ground. Let's set the ground rules here then. We have gone for the best 11 who have played in the Premier League in the last decade.
Correct.
Yes.
Right. Now, I know with the cricket one, we did have some rules around having to play of at least 5 years. Are we doing the same with the Premier League?
I've gone 3.
Brackets, please, not? Because that will mean my team is in.
Yeah, I've gone 3 years.
I think slightly less.
A bit loosey-goosey.
Yeah, I think that would be fine.
Yeah. Okay, so speaking of formation, boys, so you've gone 4-4-2.
Yep.
A classic, a man of tradition. Gareth, what have you gone?
I've gone 4-3-3. I'd like to view myself more as a modern manager in that regard.
Interesting. So I've gone 3-4-3.
I've gone 7-2-12. So you've got that.
I've gone rugby because I don't know much about football. Yeah. I've gone quite attacking with 3-4-3. But okay then. Who wants to start? I'll tell you what. You guys are much more knowledgeable about football, so I'm gonna force you guys to make the running here.
Well, we've got to start with keepers, haven't we?
Yeah.
And I
yes.
think it's probably a relatively easy decision.
Is it? Who have you gone for?
David Seaman, surely.
So it's got to be David De Gea.
Yeah, I've gone the Spanish.
Can't be anyone else. And
I did consider Cech. I did consider Peter Cech for a little bit.
I think Cech because of the stats, and he's obviously played the majority of the decade. I think, but
he's got the headwear.
De Gea actually. I know he's made a few mistakes, but he's actually won points for United, and he's been in a very average team and won them games where they've managed to sneak a goal and then defend. And when I say defend, purely him has just not let the ball in the goal. So
I have to agree. I think he has single-handedly carried that side from 14 to at least 2018. He was player of the season 3 years in a row, which I can't back this up with any fact, but I don't know if a keeper's done that. I mean, that's the only time a keeper's ever done that in the Premier League.
Yeah, can't be confident
at any club. So thank you, sir.
And again, correct me if I'm wrong. I'm pretty sure he has never once screamed at Solskjaer, "I told you I shouldn't come out." And that is a man.
Actually, in hindsight, I'm taking him out my side. He knows nothing about keeping. My 2-day Gary Bailey goalkeeping course when I was 7 taught me to come out. So I'm just going to say that. So hashtag just saying.
Hashtag come out.
Okay, right back.
Yeah.
The fullbacks I thought were quite weak.
Really, I don't know if you've really struggled with fullbacks actually.
Yeah. So I've gone Kyle Walker.
Okay. Yeah.
Longevity. He's won pretty good silverware at Man City. Yep. He's very quick. He's pretty versatile. And
he can kick the ball a long way.
He's got 2 feet.
This is like a really bad version of Top Trumps.
Well, I'm struggling.
I struggled for right backs actually. I thought.
Who did you go for?
I went Kyle Walker as well, and I had just purely lack of options, if anything.
Yeah, so, it's really poor.
It made me rethink my formation, if I'm honest.
Yeah. 2 centre backs. Played 3 at the back.
See, this is the thing. So I've played 3 at the back. So I think I've gone. I think these are all central defenders. But so I will wait until you guys have named your 4. Okay. Your 4 defenders, and then I will chime in with my choice of 3. So we've got Walker then.
Yeah.
He's up for. He's in contention.
Ian, left back.
Left back was a toss up between Ashley Cole, who was did he play much? He was. I did check this out because I was unsure, but he certainly played the first 4 years of the decade.
Okay, yeah, take that. Qualifying,
including winning the league with Chelsea, but for that reason I didn't go for him. And Leighton Baines, mainly because he's been consistent. It feels like he's been around the whole decade and had the same haircut. And I feel that one of the someone from not in the top four should be in there. So Leighton Baines.
I've gone with Patrice Evra.
You see, was he playing in the decade?
4 years at United, and he made a cameo at West Ham.
Did he?
Yeah, he played for West Ham for half a season after going to Lyon and Marseille. He came back. So
everyone goes to West Ham when they're ending their career, don't they? West Ham or QPR.
Do you think that's the same for David Moyes? Is that what you're saying about David Moyes? Look, Pellegrini ended his career there. So I've gone Patrice Evra, won the league. Absolute class. Good longevity. He was good.
Was he good?
And he is absolutely hilarious on Twitter and Instagram. So if that can't, he's the funniest left back on Twitter. Fact. So
he's left back. Yeah. Okay. I'll go with that. No, I won't. No, Leighton Baines. It's got to be Leighton Baines.
Oliver, you have the final vote.
Well, again, it might come down to formation here.
Okay.
It might come down to formation. So we'll hold out. We've got Walker and Baines, and who did you have again? Evra.
Yeah.
Okay, so those three up for contention.
Okay, Ollie, who's your centre backs?
Okay, one of them I can't pronounce. So Van Dijk and company.
Right.
And then, okay.
John Stones.
Leighton Baines.
He's Spanish. Bacanes.
Bayonnaise.
Yes.
Bayonnaise. Aspilicueta.
Oh yeah.
Yes. He's a right back, but I'll give you that.
You can play him in the right of central defence.
Yes, you can.
He won a lot with Chelsea.
I don't think he's won a lot with Chelsea. I don't think he gets into my team of the decade.
No,
he's good.
Two Premier League titles, FA Cup title, Football League, UEFA Cup twice.
Giving all team honours here, Ollie. Talking about individuals.
Chelsea Player of the Year, 2013-14.
Oh.
UEFA Europa League Squad of the Season 2018-19. That is longevity.
Okay, actually,
get a room with bloody Aspilicueta.
I can't pronounce his name. I can't.
To be fair, okay. Well, why don't we play him a right back, because he actually does play and can play right back.
Yeah,
there you go.
And then we have, I think, Ian, do you have anyone but Company and Van Dijk?
Well, we can't have Van Dijk in. Sorry, it's team of the decade. It's not team of the last 2 seasons.
How many seasons has Van Dijk been in the Premier League?
In the Premier League, but he did nothing at Southampton.
He got enough to get that price tag.
Okay, so who?
Okay, so Company, I'm assuming,
I've got down Ferdinand and Terry, both because they're legends of the Premier League.
We can't have John Terry.
I completely agree.
Not have John
I completely
Terry.
agree. I put him down there purely because he's got to be down there. But this one, Gary Cahill. Now let me tell you why.
Please do.
This is Ricky Lambert all over again.
He has played the whole decade for Chelsea. He started at Bolton, so he's been in the Premier League for the whole decade, and he's been consistently in the Chelsea team, winning titles, winning trophies, and
these are team honours, mate. Team honours.
He sorted out the Palace defence this past season. So I think he is showing his quality, and I think Gary Cahill alongside Vincent Kompany makes a great defence.
You cannot have Cahill.
So are you saying if you would? Okay, so this is where we're going to get into difficulty. But if you had to pick for Palace between Cahill and Van Dijk,
Well, we'd never get Van Dijk.
No, that's not the question. That's not the question.
I mean, none of this is realistic, but like, I mean, I get the point. I get the point about Van Dijk only sort of really dominating in the last couple of years. However, he has been in the Premier League since 2015.
Yeah.
Yeah, but you didn't really know anything about him. And
so he's quiet. He's humbly awesome.
He engineered a transfer. I don't like that. He wanted to leave, so he.
So did Gary Cahill. He was woefully bad at Chelsea for his last season to get the transfer. He played the long game there and did that.
And he's ended up at Palace.
He made so many errors that last season at Chelsea. They thought, he's going to Palace. He's going to Palace.
Yeah, we'll have him.
I mean, get him.
He was one phone call away from West Ham, and then thought he's not ready to end his career yet, so he's going to go to Palace.
He's not ready for the A-League in Australia quite yet. We'll send him to Palace first. Well, look. I mean, I do like.
Let's go Cahill. Let's go. You know what?
No.
To be honest,
it's two
I don't want.
one, so,
yeah, but I don't really want. I want very few Liverpool players in there. So,
I think we go Cahill because I think it's a slightly more controversial.
So we go Azpilicueta, Company.
Yep.
Cahill, and who was our left back?
Leighton Baines. Or
Leighton Baines.
No, Walker. So Ollie was deciding between
I thought
Baines
Walker.
Walker's right, but we dropped Walker.
Oh, right.
Because I couldn't come up with anything better than he runs fast and he's played for Man City. So,
it sounds like a chant. He runs fast.
So it's basically, it falls on you. Patrice Evra or Leighton Baines? French.
Evra.
Okay, sorry, Ian. Well, you did get Cahill, so you can't really approach that.
If we'd gone for Leighton Baines, we would have had 5 different teams represented in our team.
Nice.
United,
stats.
Everton, Man City, Palace, and Chelsea. Which would be
can't believe Palace, incredible.
Can't believe Palace.
I'm pleased I've got Glenn Murray up front though to put the Brighton thing.
Okay. So there's our defence.
Okay. Midfield.
I mean, in today's game, you might go over the top of Cahill and have plenty of space in behind. But midfield.
Ian,
what we got?
Okay, so the obvious ones.
Yeah.
David Silva, Kevin De Bruyne.
Yes.
Yeah.
No.
They're the ones that Eden Hazard.
Oh, I see. Okay, so I've played Hazard up front in the front three.
About that.
I played him in the front three. I've not gone David Silva.
Oh, right.
I've gone Kevin De Bruyne because that man is just an absolute wizard. I've gone N'Golo Kante.
Yeah.
Just because of longevity and the fact that he literally, bar Vardy scoring all those goals, dragged Leicester to the league in terms of the midfield. I don't think they would have won the league without him in that side. And I think he's just class. And then I've gone Steven Gerrard as my other one.
I did have Gerrard and Lampard down, but I felt that was a bit Ferdinand and Terry.
Yeah, it was a bit
clutching at straws. So I've gone for 2 central midfielders, which Kevin De Bruyne and Kante, which means I need 2 wingers, and it's between 3 for me.
Okay.
All have had a big impact on both their teams, carried their teams, and the Premier League. And that would be Eden Hazard, Riyad Mahrez, who is exceptional. I saw him at Palace, and he's brilliant.
Well, you see,
when he was playing for Leicester, and Wilfried Zaha.
You haven't.
Yeah,
you are taking it.
I need to make a decision. 2 of those, but
if it's out of those 2, then I think there's only 2.
Been in the Premier League for the past 6 years.
Doesn't score enough goals for me, mate, to make team of the decade. Great feet, very strong. Does not score enough goals. This season he's scoring more. I'll give you that. but I can't have it. Sorry.
He's no Gary Cahill.
I'd rather have Gary Cahill on the wing. So, I mean, Ollie, what have you got?
So I'll be honest with you, I'm not entirely sure how these guys are going to form up. I'm going to play quite a free-flowing Ajax total football style in midfield. I'm just backing talent to do the job, really. I've got Hazard, Toure, Silva, and Gerrard.
Okay.
Which I think is fearsome. I think that's a fearsome midfield.
Yeah, Toure's an interesting one, actually, because he was, I think, underrated. The impact he had, but I thought he was a bit too of an individual, and that's why he didn't fit in the team. They put everything through him, and that City team is not about one player, is it? Really?
Yeah.
Even De Bruyne is pretty like he just goes about what he does, and it's brilliant rather than actually.
So the common ones there we've got. There was no De Bruyne from you, but we've got two De Bruynes.
No, although I do think he has to be in, to be fair.
So De Bruyne,
Yep.
Hang on, you've got Hazard up front, haven't you?
Yeah, but that's fine. I mean, he's in the side somehow. We just got to try and work out where, because we've all put him in.
I think we need a bit of a holding midfielder, a tackler. So I think Kante's got to be in there.
Yeah, and Gole. Okay.
And it's just who is your last one? You had Gerrard.
I had Gerrard.
I've had Gerrard, yeah.
But I think the more I think about it, let's go David Silva.
You reckon? What about Zaha?
Who?
The only other one I noted down is Raheem Sterling. Now I know he's come to prominence in the past couple of seasons, but
I mean, he was good at Liverpool.
He had 3 or 4 seasons at Liverpool and was really good. I mean, you forget how young he started. I think he was 18, 19 when he was actually playing regularly in the Premier League. So,
that season with the famous Steven Gerrard slip, he was really good for Liverpool that season. Yeah. Like phenomenal. So, I don't know. Well, if we're going to play 4 and then 2 up front, then I would probably, if we're me, then I'd go Sterling potentially and Hazard. And then I'd go De Bruyne and Kante.
Yeah, that looks good. Kante,
someone writing this down?
Yeah. Kante is definitely doing all the defending for that midfield. Yes. I mean, that's a pretty...
I mean, but he could pretty much go wandering. He's got Cahill and Company behind him.
Exactly. And imagine how good we'll be at set pieces. Anyway, so forwards.
Okay. I mean, I think there's a fairly obvious one. Glenn Murray. Played.
I'm not going to argue with that. He had his best years for Palace.
He's on his way to West Ham too.
Via Palace.
As the boot man.
Has everyone got Aguero?
Yeah.
Yeah.
No?
Boys, have you...
I had him down as an option, but he didn't make the final cut.
Oh, God, you are brutal. Who's yours then?
Do you not like goals from your striker? Yeah. Do you look for other things?
Well, I've gone for the leading... Oh, I might be wrong on this. Yeah, I'm definitely wrong. I'm not going to say it.
Go. No, go. Come on.
Go on, make the claim.
Well, I'm going to change it because I was going to say the leading Premier League goal scorer, but Alan Shearer is not available. So, but Wayne Rooney.
Yes, I've gone Wazza.
Got to be.
Really?
Yeah.
Mate,
there's not many players who can play at the highest level and change position and still be first choice on the team sheet.
Actually, not at a club at United, who were between 10 and 14 was still pretty dominant side.
Absolutely.
Because they lost. I don't know. I had Wazza.
That he left and United really went downhill. So,
I mean, I'm probably more Ferguson, but when Wayne's left, it's even worse.
Exactly. So I've got him and
controversial, Jamie Vardy.
I thought you were going to... I had a weird feeling you were going to say that. I don't know why.
This is cat amongst the pigeons time. Although, actually, I was just looking up a quick cheeky stat on Mr. Shrek. Not only has he scored a bucket ton of goals, second behind Alan Shearer, third highest number of assists.
There you go.
I mean, you can't argue.
Quite impressive.
What we need in our team is assists. Because we do not have them in that.
Yeah,
midfield.
I mean, you're right. Actually, Hazard, De Bruyne, Sterling. I mean, they're not going to create much. Lacking in that department. No, I think. Sorry, okay, you've got Rooney. And actually, to be fair, I don't know when did Ronaldo leave? 2009?
Yeah, I think
so. Actually, the start of that decade, Rooney stepped up a lot.
Yeah.
He was good anyway with Ronaldo, but he really stepped up and took responsibility.
He consistently got 20 goals a season. Very rarely injured. I think he's Mr. Premier League.
So I'm gonna go Wayne Rooney. Sorry, I think he's got to get in there. So it comes down to Aguero versus Vardy.
Well, hang on. Oh
yeah. Sorry, you've got one more to go in there.
Well, I've got two. Now, one is definitely controversial, but I like him. I hate him, but I like him.
Christian Benteke.
How well you know me. Which is Suarez. Because I want a proper nasty piece of work who scares defenders, not because of his pace, but because of his bite. And I think that Suarez is gonna put people off. I like his ball.
Sadly, this is unfortunately going to go against what you said earlier. You cannot have Patrice Evra and Suarez in the same team, so Suarez cannot make the side. The racist biter cannot be in the side.
But we didn't bring Evra into the team.
We did. Oh yeah, because you're stupid. Because you're stupid equality and diversity of lots of different clubs. So there's we can't. Oh no! Oh wait, great. So we have to have a Uruguayan. Is that where we've gone? Is this how this is all played out?
No.
Well, no. Look.
I think that's a good shout. Actually, he did have.
I think there's something about him that is a very.
But again, did he have a lot? He had 2 good seasons, didn't he?
Yes.
I don't think he had enough longevity as top. I think Aguero. I mean, Aguero for nothing else but banging in a winner in the 94th minute to win the league for the first time for City.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think. I like Suarez as an option in there because he's just violent. I kind of like that, but I don't think he's by any means one of the top 2 or top 3 strikers from the decade. But I have gone for Harry Kane as well.
Controversial.
It's tough, isn't it?
I mean,
it's tough up front.
As much hate Spurs, Harry Kane, I think is a good shout.
I agree that he needs to be considered, and I excluded him in the similar way that I did Aguero, in that I just think they're a bit too obvious.
Yeah,
they've earned their place a bit too much.
Yeah,
obvious quality is the worst type of quality, isn't it? Yeah. I really like quality I can have to hunt for.
Yeah, we feel bad putting you in the best team of the decade because it's just you're almost too good for that. Is there a team above the best team of the decade?
Too consistent.
Yeah.
Oh. Mate, 136 goals in 198 appearances for Tottenham. That is phenomenal.
Okay,
He's good.
So
He's good.
What is that versus Aguero?
Okay, so remember 136 from 198. What's Aguero? He is
177 from 255.
You do the math.
I think Aguero edges it by 4.3%. So.
And actually, going by the Gary Cahill rules, Aguero has played since 2011, and he has scored
the lowest he's scored in a season is 23.
Sorry,
So
I think you've
that's
got
a complete
him.
lie. I'm looking at the wrong stat.
Excellent.
You're looking at Harry Kane. That's what you're doing.
He has consistently scored over 20 goals a season since 2014.
He's consistently scored. So okay, so what are we going then? Kind of we've got Rooney in the mix. We've got Harry Kane. We've got Aguero. We've got some nasty little Uruguayan. Like what are we going for?
Jamie Vardy.
Oh, and Jamie Vardy.
I can't. I think there's. I don't know. He obviously.
You get. Okay, here you go. You guys are our football specialists. You get to pick one each.
Oh no, I'm going to go. I'll pull Vardy.
I think Rooney's got to go in.
Rooney and Aguero for me.
Rooney and Aguero.
Yeah,
nice.
That's quite good.
Nice.
I know.
That was scare. That was scare.
I know. It's obvious, Ian, but I think Rooney and Aguero.
Yeah. Okay.
So can we have you've written this down? First of all, okay. Last two questions quickly before we summarise the side. Captain and coach.
Don't need a captain.
Oh yeah, sorry. Do we need a coach? No, we got us three.
Yeah.
We got us three. It's fine.
Hey, we need a bus driver.
Okay, so coach is interesting. Who did you coach?
I didn't pick one, but I'm thinking it can't be Mourinho. We can't pick Mourinho. So
we don't have any Portuguese contingents. So I think I've got to go Mourinho. He didn't win enough. He didn't win enough in this decade for me.
No, good point. And he's shit. Who are you thinking?
Go on, Joss Butler.
Guardiola?
I mean, I think it's got to be. I mean,
he's the best coach.
I think Klopp's. If this season had come last season, if that makes sense, I think I'd probably be going Klopp. But I think because he's going to win the league in 20, I can't. You know, when we're doing this podcast in 10 years' time, Klopp's a shoo-in. I mean, let's be honest.
Yeah. So,
what about the manager who oversaw the greatest shock of the Premier League in the past decade?
Chris Hughton.
Ranieri. No.
One season, one hit wonder.
Benitez, mate. He took Leicester to the Premier League title. That is insane. That is insane.
Did you just say Benitez?
You meant Ranieri, didn't you?
Sorry, Ranieri. Yeah. That is the most impressive.
You say that, but we haven't got Jamie Vardy or Riyad Mahrez in there, who did actually take him to the Premier League title.
No, I think Ranieri had one good season there, didn't he? Let's be honest. I mean,
what a season! What a season!
Yeah, I mean, it was the best individual, like from a not top four side, obviously by a long way. But I don't think that gives you. I don't think it gives you enough to go. You're manager of the decade. Whereas Pep,
is it Pep then? Because he's used to managing a lot of talent as well.
I think it's got to be Pep. I think he could cope. He could cope with that dressing room.
Yeah.
Nice. Okay. So Pep.
Yeah.
Captain.
So captain. It's got to be
either Rooney or Company for me.
Yeah. Company.
Not Rooney.
So okay, Ian, could you recap for our listeners who are still there?
David De Gea in goal.
Yes.
Right back was what's his first name?
Cesar Azpilicueta.
There we go. Left back,
easy for you
Baines.
to say.
Centre back and captain Vincent Kompany.
Nice.
Centre back and legend Gary Cahill. In the centre of midfield, Kevin De Bruyne and N'Golo Kante. Eden Hazard on the right and Raheem Sterling on the left, but they'll probably switch around to just confuse the fullbacks. And then up front, Wayne Rooney and Sergio Aguero.
Hey, I like it.
There's a lot to like about that side.
Yeah.
That side has got plenty to bring to the party.
Yeah.
So
Exactly.
Next week, I think it's the egg the egg-shaped ball, and I am really going to struggle with this. So I'm just caveating that there will be some international correspondence from my selection committee, just so you know.
Well, I think that'd be good.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Do we want to do? What do you want to do for next? Do you want to do best international side, rugby international side?
International
or Six Nations or
actually, considering we've got the six.
Well, when is that? Well, actually, the Premier. So, I mean, this is probably an offline conversation, but anyway, I think we go World Rugby for this one, and then we can always do a Six Nations in Feb when the Six Nations is on.
That's a good idea.
Nice.
What a good idea.
Fine. Thank you for your insightful input, as always, from both of you.
Thank you, Gareth.
Some banter, some thought out things, some left field decisions. Another successful week on All About the Balls.
Lovely. And we will see everyone next week.
Fantastic.
Go well.
Great stuff.
Cheers.
Go well.